The popularity of minivans has plummeted as the popularity of crossover SUVs has exploded. But minivans like this Honda Odyssey are still the most versatile type of vehicle to get people, cargo, dogs, you name it, moving around. But the Odyssey has some stiff competition from the last remaining minivans on the market: Chrysler Pacifica, Kia Carnival, and Toyota Sienna. So what does this 2022 Honda Odyssey bring to the table? Let's go for a drive and find out. Like many other minivans, except for the Toyota Sienna, the Honda Odyssey gets a V6 engine. It produces 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. That is more than an adequate amount of power. You don't really need to rev or strain the engine every time you overtake a vehicle or merge onto a highway. However, it's not really the most fuel efficient out there. Officially, the 2022 Honda Odyssey is rated for 12.2 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. Now, on paper, the fuel economy figures are actually not that bad, but in the real world, it's a little bit more difficult getting low city fuel economy numbers. I've been struggling to get it below 13 liters per 100 kilometers, and I don't have a heavy foot. On highways though, it is really easy to get 9 or even 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Paired with this engine is a new 10-speed automatic transmission. A couple of years ago, Honda did the switch from a 9-speed to this new 10-speed. And for the most part, it feels almost like a CVT because the gear ratios are very short and they are extremely smooth. You don't feel this transmission changing gears. You can take over control by putting it into sport mode and using the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. Yes, you do get paddle shifters in a minivan. And the transmission itself is pretty decent at responding to your inputs, but it's by no means a dual clutch. And as for the driving dynamics of the Honda Odyssey, it's obviously not meant to be any sort of sporty minivan. It doesn't say Type R on the back. But it is very comfortable and very easy to drive, even on long road trips. You don't really need to put too much input into the steering to just keep the car in a straight line, and that makes it very easy to drive. On the move, the Honda Odyssey is extremely comfortable. That is one of the best attributes about this minivan. That sounds like a Mustang, but I assure you it's a Maserati. It's a Maserati Gran Turismo. Pretty nice sounding exhaust. Anyway, the Honda Odyssey, like I said, is a very comfortable minivan. The suspension soaks up bumps like as though they're not even there. I mean, of course, you still are going to feel the bumps as you drive over them, but the suspension does a fantastic job of just smoothing out the edges. It's like as though you're driving on a cloud. And as for noises inside the cabin, road noise, wind noise, engine noise, you pretty much don't even hear it when you're driving on highways. So if you're on a long road trip and you have kids in the back, they're definitely not going to be disturbed by the noises from the outside world. The Honda Odyssey is one of the bigger minivans out there, so you're getting a lot of space on the inside. Here in the front seats, I am 6'4", and legroom is not an issue. Headroom, as you can see, not an issue whatsoever. You're also getting quite a lot of little storage bins for your knickknacks, paddywhacks, and give the dogs a bone. So in between the front seats is a huge area, but my small complaints about it is that the sidewalls are a little on the shallow side. So if you have something a little taller and you take a corner too vigorously, then it might spill over to either side. There's a storage bin that slides from the center console. The center console itself is quite deep. You also have a USB port in there. Wireless phone charging pad is right on top, and a couple of cup holders right in front of that. The door panels have, again, a lot of storage areas with some square cup holders or juice box holders. Your sunglasses can go right here with a vanity mirror, and oh yeah, there's also, of course, a traditional glove box. So you got plenty of spaces to store stuff and probably lose them in here. My only small complaint about the interior design is the fact that they used gloss black right here where it's a high traffic area, so right on the door handle. You're always going to grab it, and most likely people are going to be wearing rings, so it's going to get scratched up. The gloss black that's on the center console is okay. It is going to attract fingerprints and dust, as it already has, but at least the buttons themselves are not in gloss black. And again, on the steering wheel, same thing. The trim is gloss black, but the buttons themselves are matte black. So it's not going to look that bad, but it is still quite bad for something that's very family oriented. Anyway, enough about that rant about gloss black plastics. Let's go check out the back seats. In the back, like I said, the Odyssey has a lot of space. So behind my driving position, legroom, we got plenty of it. Headroom, again, no problems whatsoever. These seats, of course, they do slide forwards and backwards, at least the outer ones, and they also recline. But if you want, you can take them all out. So the center one you can take out and then move these two to either side, or just leave them as like captain's chairs, or again, take them out all together and have quite a lot of storage space to carry stuff. Thing is though, these are a little bit tricky to get out, especially if you're not quite buff and strong, so it can be a hassle. Chrysler Pacifica Stow and Go is a much better solution. And in the back, you also have rear entertainment system, so the kids will stay entertained for a little while at least. Oh, one thing I forgot to say in the front is that I really don't like those armrests. They are really small and my elbow always falls off of them. Also, in the back seats right here, these armrests are laughably small. Let's go check out the third row now. In the third row, there is enough space for adults to sit back there. There are also USB and audio ports to keep individuals entertained. The third row can be folded into the trunk area, and it is much simpler to do than removing the second row seats. As for the trunk itself, the 2022 Odyssey can accommodate 929 liters of space behind the third row, 2,452 liters of space behind the second row, and 3,973 liters of space behind the first row with the second row removed. The Honda Odyssey, that is this one, not the older one back there, starts at just over $48,000 Canadian. That is more expensive than the Kia Carnival and the Toyota Sienna, but it is less expensive than the starting price of the Chrysler Pacifica. However, at the other end of the spectrum, if you go for a top spec trim like this Touring or Elite in the United States, then you're going to be paying at around $55,000 Canadian. That is again more expensive than the Kia Carnival, but it is less expensive than the Toyota Sienna or the Chrysler Pacifica, their topmost spec trims. Actually, for the Pacifica, you're going to be paying well over $65,000 Canadian for the Pinnacle trim with the plug-in hybrid powertrain. This fully loaded demo vehicle came equipped with all the bells and whistles, which included heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, leather upholstery, sunroof, backup camera, power liftgate, power sliding doors, rear entertainment system, wireless phone charging, navigation, and so on. One gadget that has been removed from the 2022 model year is the built-in vacuum. It was such a useful feature, especially for a vehicle that gets messy quite often. On the outside, the Honda Odyssey received a mid-cycle update for the 2021 model year. The changes give the Odyssey a simpler front fascia design. To my eyes though, I prefer the pre-update styling a little bit more. This one looks a bit too much like the old Nissan Quest from the front. Along with the mid-cycle update, the Odyssey is now equipped with standard automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning with lane keep, adaptive cruise control with slow speed follow, and rear seat reminder alert. The only additions that are not standard and are only available on the Touring trim, or EX in the United States, are the blind spot sensors and rear cross traffic alert. The IIHS gave the 2022 Honda Odyssey a top pick plus, and it scored well in crash tests. So in the end, the Honda Odyssey is one of the best minivans out there if you take a lot of long family road trips. Its quietness, its smoothness, its ease of drive is unparalleled by any of the other minivans on the market right now. However, it's not the best in all areas. For example, if you want all-wheel drive, then Sienna or Pacifica. If you want a hybrid powertrain, again, Pacifica or Sienna. If you want VIP lounge seats, then Kia Carnival. But the Odyssey is a good all-rounder, and it's worth checking out. If you want to know more about this 2022 Honda Odyssey, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or most likely it'll probably be an SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.